The early 1930s saw Japan withdraw from international naval treaties. This pivotal decision unshackled the nation from limitations on warship construction. Japanese naval strategists, keenly aware of their country's industrial capacity, knew they could not outproduce the United States in sheer numbers of ships. Their answer was a bold shift towards qualitative superiority. The vision was to create battleships so powerful they could engage and defeat multiple enemy vessels simultaneously. This philosophy directly led to the genesis of the Yamato class, vessels designed to be the undisputed kings of the ocean, a counter to American naval strength in the Pacific. The Imperial Japanese Navy shrouded the Yamato project in unprecedented secrecy. Design work commenced with a clear objective: to build the largest, most heavily armed battleships ever conceived. Engineers and naval architects worked tirelessly, meticulously planning every detail of these future leviathans. The name Yamato itself was deeply symbolic, an ancient poetic term for Japan, reflecting the immense national pride and strategic importance invested in these ships. The project represented a monumental gamble, pouring vast resources into a new breed of warship that Japan hoped would secure its dominance at sea and project its imperial ambitions across the vast Pacific theater. Construction of the lead ship began on November 4, 1937. The Kure Naval Arsenal in Hiroshima Prefecture was chosen for this immense undertaking. A special graving dock had to be prepared, deepened, and lengthened to accommodate the battleship's colossal hull. To maintain secrecy, a towering sisal screen was erected around the construction site, obscuring it from prying eyes. Workers were sworn to silence, and knowledge of the ship's true dimensions and capabilities was restricted to a very select few. The entire process was a testament to Japanese engineering prowess and their determination to create a warship without equal, a visible symbol of their rising power. It was launched on August 8, 1940, a significant milestone achieved amidst growing global tensions. Finally, on December 16, 1941, just over a week after the surprise attack on Pearl Harbor thrust Japan into war with the United States, it was formally commissioned into the Imperial Japanese Navy. Her entry into service was a moment of triumph for Japan, a tangible manifestation of its naval ambitions realized. She was not merely a ship, she was a statement, a floating fortress intended to spearhead Japan's naval strategy and strike fear into the hearts of her adversaries, as the Pacific War began its devastating course across the ocean. They was a vessel of truly staggering proportions, a steel behemoth that dwarfed all contemporaries. She displaced nearly 72,000 tons at full load, a weight previously unheard of for a warship. Her overall length stretched to an impressive 263 meters, with a beam of 38.9 meters, giving her a broad and stable platform. Even her draft, at 11 meters, indicated the sheer volume of water she displaced. These dimensions were not just for show, they were necessary to support her immense armament and the thick armor designed to withstand enemy fire, making her a true titan of the seas. The heart of his offensive capability lay in her main armament, 9 46-centimeter Type 94 naval guns. These were the largest cannons ever mounted on a warship, housed in 3 massive triple turrets. Each gun barrel alone was over 21 meters long and weighed an astonishing 147.3 tons. They could hurl armor-piercing shells, each weighing as much as a small car, over a phenomenal range of 42 kilometers. The thunderous roar of these guns firing in unison was a terrifying spectacle, a demonstration of raw power intended to obliterate any opposition. This main battery defined the and her sister ship as the most powerfully armed battleships in history. Beyond her main guns carried a formidable array of secondary and anti-aircraft weaponry. Initially, this included 4 triple 15.5-centimeter turrets, weapons that were themselves the main armament on some cruisers. For defense against aerial threats, she was equipped with numerous 12.7-centimeter dual-purpose guns and a growing number of 25mm anti-aircraft cannons. As the war progressed, and the threat from carrier-based aircraft became undeniable, her anti-aircraft defenses were repeatedly upgraded. These refits saw some 15.5-centimeter turrets removed to make way for even more anti-aircraft guns, reflecting the changing nature of naval warfare, where air power was becoming increasingly dominant. Her defensive systems were equally impressive. The was encased in a thick citadel of armor, designed to protect her vital areas from shells and bombs. Her waterline belt armor was a formidable 410 millimeters thick, while the deck armor ranged from 200 to 226.5 millimeters. The faces of her main gun turrets boasted an incredible 650 millimeters of steel. Powered by 12 Campon boilers generating 150,000 shaft horsepower, she could achieve a top speed of around 27 knots, respectable for a vessel of her immense size, allowing her to maneuver with the fleet despite her bulk. Upon her commissioning, quickly assumed a prestigious role. On February 12, 1942, she became the flagship of Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, the commander-in-chief of Japan's combined fleet. It was from his bridge that Yamamoto directed the ill-fated Battle of Midway in June 1942. However, the battleship herself was positioned too far from the main action to engage American forces, a source of frustration for those who believed in her offensive power. For much of 1943 was engaged in troop transport and fleet maneuvers, moving between the major Japanese naval bases at Truk and Kura, a period of relative inactivity for such a mighty warship. The realities of modern naval warfare soon caught up with her. On Christmas Day 1943, while transporting troops to Truk, was struck by a torpedo from the American submarine USS. The torpedo tore a significant hole below the waterline, flooding one of the aft turret's upper magazines and causing the ship to take on approximately 3,000 tons of water. Though not critically damaged, the incident highlighted her vulnerability to submarine attack. She returned to Kura for repairs in early 1944, during which improvements were made to her armor, and her anti-aircraft armament was significantly increased, alongside the installation of new radar systems. Though was present at the Battle of the Philippine Sea in June 1944, but her contribution was minimal, and marred by an unfortunate incident, where she mistakenly opened fire on returning Japanese aircraft. The true test of her main guns against enemy surface ships finally came during the Battle of Leyte Gulf in October 1944, as part of Admiral Takeo Kurita's center force, engaged American escort carriers and their screening destroyers during the battle off Samar. She fired her 46-centimeter guns at enemy vessels for the first and only time, scoring hits and contributing to the sinking of the escort carrier USS and heavily damaging other American ships. Despite inflicting damage, the Japanese center force, including, eventually retreated under American air attacks, and due to Kurita's controversial decision to withdraw. During the earlier Battle of the Sibuyan Sea, had sustained moderate damage from 2 armor-piercing bombs. Her sister ship was sunk in the same engagement after enduring numerous bomb and torpedo hits, a stark warning of the overwhelming power of carrier aviation. Following Leyte Gulf, returned to Japan for repairs and further anti-aircraft upgrades, her operational capabilities slowly being whittled down by the relentless Allied offensive across the Pacific. By early 1945, Japan's situation was desperate. The Allied war machine was relentlessly advancing, and the homeland itself was under threat. In a final symbolic act of defiance, the Imperial Japanese Navy conceived Operation Tengo, with a skeleton escort of the light cruiser and 8 destroyers, was ordered on a one-way mission to Okinawa. Her orders were to beach herself on the island and fight as a coastal artillery battery until destroyed, a suicidal charge intended to disrupt the American invasion and embody the samurai spirit of fighting to the last. She departed Tokuyama on April 6, 1945, carrying only enough fuel for a one-way trip. The sortie was doomed from the start. American submarines quickly spotted the small Japanese force, and on April 7, 1945, waves of U.S. carrier aircraft, numbering nearly 400 in total, descended upon them, possessed no air cover. The attacks were relentless and overwhelming. Bombs tore into her superstructure, and torpedoes ripped into her hull. Despite her thick armor and the valiant efforts of her crew, she could not withstand such a concentrated assault. Her speed dropped, fires raged, and a severe list developed. The anti-aircraft guns, though numerous, were swamped by the sheer number of attackers. At 14:23 on April 7, 1945, after enduring at least 11 torpedoes and 6 direct bomb hits, the Mighty capsized and exploded. One of her main magazines detonated with such force that it created a mushroom cloud visible for miles, a cataclysmic end for the world's largest battleship. An estimated 3,055 of her 3,332 crew, including Fleet Commander Vice Admiral Seiichi Ito and Captain Kosaku Aruga, went down with the ship. Her sinking, along with most of her escort, marked the effective end of the Imperial Japanese Navy as a fighting force and became a poignant symbol of Japan's impending defeat. The S story did not end with her destruction. Her name, representing ancient Japan, made her sinking a powerful metaphor for the end of the empire. In Japan, she remains a potent cultural icon, symbolizing both the pinnacle of naval engineering and the tragic futility of war. The wreck was discovered in 1985, lying in two main pieces 340 meters beneath the East China Sea. The Yamato Museum in Kure, featuring a massive 1/10 scale model, draws visitors from around the world. The legend of continues to resonate, famously inspiring the anime series, ensuring her tale of power, sacrifice, and ultimate demise endures in global consciousness.